Hi there. I'm Sarah Johnson. Just your average mom looking for a fresh start for her family. Little did I know. We'd been house hunting for months. Mark, my husband, he's always had a thing for old houses. When we first saw this Victorian mansion, I'll admit it gave me the creeps. But Mark was in love. The realtor kept going on about its character and history. If only we'd known what that really meant. Moving day came and the kids were so excited. Ellie, our little ball of energy, practically flew up those creaky steps. Jake, always the cautious one, hung back a bit. Looking back, I wonder if he sensed something we didn't. That first day was normal, I guess. As normal as it can be when you're surrounded by dusty antiques and creaking floorboards. But that night, that's when it all began to change. I heard noises, whispers, things moving in the dark. I tried to tell myself it was just the house settling, but deep down I knew. The next morning everything seemed almost normal. Almost. Mark was his usual cheery self, oblivious to the strangeness around us. Ellie was excited to explore her new home. If only I could share her enthusiasm. I woke up to the sound of footsteps in the hall. Soft, deliberate. I thought it was Jake wandering around, but when I looked out, the hallway was empty, just shadows dancing on the walls. The next morning, Jake was so quiet. When I asked what was wrong, he just mumbled something about a shadow in his room. Mark brushed it off, of course. Kids and their imaginations, he said. But I felt it too. Something wasn't right. That evening, as the sun set, the house seemed to come alive. Every creak, every shadow, it felt like we were being watched. Before we could process that, we heard a crash from upstairs. The window was wide open, curtains fluttering in the breeze. Jake's lamp lay shattered on the floor. But the truly terrifying part? Jake swore he'd seen me open the window and knock over the lamp. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow in our room seemed darker, every sound too sharp. I kept glancing at the mirror in the corner, half expecting my reflection to move on its own. And then, there was a tap at the bedroom door. Quiet, but insistent. I opened it to find Ellie standing there, but something was off. Her eyes were glassy, her face blank.
Come with me, Mom. I need to show you something.
Against my better judgment, I followed her down the stairs. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst. We reached the living room, and Ellie stopped in front of that old cloudy mirror on the far wall. But then, oh God, my reflection. It moved on its own.
Welcome home.
I reached out to grab Ellie, but as my hand touched her shoulder, she changed.
We don't need to hide anymore.
I ran back upstairs, my mind reeling. I had to get Mark, to get the kids, to get out of this nightmare. But when I reached our bedroom, I saw myself, standing in the doorway, smiling at the sleeping Mark. And now, as I stand here watching this thing pretend to be me, I wonder, is this really happening? Am I losing my mind? Or have we stumbled into something far worse than we could have ever imagined? One thing's certain. This house, it's not our new home. It's our new prison, and I fear we may never escape. Ever